Now let's get random with Randomly Ronnie Jr.
All right, so we're going to do a little review or breakdown of what we thought about season 1 of Bravo TV's In the City. I actually kind of liked it. And coming off Summer House, I've watched Summer House since season 1. I always say that Summer House season 1 could not get enough Lindsay in the early era, could not get enough of Kyle. Amanda wasn't even casted on season 1, but she was the girlfriend, and then she made it on season 2, and then, that materialized into everything else. But it's just always been an interesting group. Carl of Summer House, obviously he didn't do In the City, but it's been an interesting group. And when you do a show such like Vanderpump Rules, and you've got to switch it on over to a new stage, a new era for some of the cast members, going to the Valley as the comparison, Summer House to In the City felt really good. I don't know that Vanderpump Rules into the Valley is as good. The comparison to me, it just doesn't feel like the show is entertaining. And though the Valley is in season 3, and cameras are always up, something's going on with Brittany, something's going on with Jack, something's going on with the publicist. Over on In the City with the queen who used to be in publicity, which is Lindsay Hubbard, Hub House. In the City just feels like a better and bigger and more entertaining show, in my opinion. So I won't spend too much time on the Valley, but I did, essentially wanted to ask and wonder what's the overall opinion, general opinion rather, the Valley as a from Vanderpump Rules show, and the City as a from Summer House show, as it morphed on and became a spinoff for both each respective original show. I just, again, I can't say that The Valley's fun to watch. Now, The Valley Persian Style, which was a show that Reza did with Golnessa and MJ, that one was generally okay. But Bravo TV at this point, it's so unfortunate. They're throwing just anything at the wall. But some of it is sticking and some of it is feeling really good. So let's concentrate and focus on the city. But I got to tell you, a big surprise to me, I don't know if I will grade Lindsay Hubbard, who I have loved from the beginning. Make me a sandwich, Lindsay Hubbard. The reference, Lindsay Hubbard, to me, every season she's ever done the show has been a 10. And there's something that has been shifting even in her last Summer House seasons. And I still like her so much. I think she was born for this genre. I think she was probably born for the genre or even workplace success of being in publicity. And she's been a go-getter, a Florida gal, lived in LA, lived in New York, and is just always so present. But if I was being super duper particular, and who's asking me? Nobody. But if I was being super particular, I would say that I feel like Lindsay is maybe at that stage where 10 years strong, doing the same thing over and over and over, she's not as, she's almost lost her cool factor. Now, this is somebody who likes Lindsay and says, Mother Hubbard, she's the queen of Bravo TV. Absolutely. Back in the day, seasons ago, way before Paige DeSorbo even went on, Summer House, I would always say, Lindsay, Summer House, she should morph into a show like Real Housewives of New York back in that time. Obviously it didn't go that way. And so the city's actually really good. And I'm just being critical because I'm noticing something I think that maybe is happening with her as a possibility. I don't know for certain, but it feels like that. It feels like she's really shifted into performing for the audience versus being like the coolest girl in the room. And that's always who she was. Now, one could say, as with the show did show this season, she's playing the mother card, But I don't think it's just that. And that could be something that each person who watched this season and this show could have a difference of opinion on. But I don't think it's just that. Yes, you grow, you evolve, even aging, you become a different person. And certainly, she literally was engaged, dropped. They had to film it, which was probably so emotional for somebody who, like her, might have, separation anxiety already. Go through that, and then she didn't even redeem the success, because I was bummed when it happened, because I was like, at the very least, she's going to be the next Vanderpump, Scandival, Tom Sandoval, Raquel, and Ariana like it was a terrible situation for all three, but at least the show got huge ratings and everyone made a lot of money, and it was one of those sticky situations. Lindsay Hubbard gets dropped in an engagement from Carl. Carl's not a bad guy per se. I like him on the show. And it almost seemed like Lindsay was going to get her big moment, and this is not a really great thing to get a big moment on the basis of, but at least you would get that big moment, and she didn't get it. So here Lindsay has been like paving the way for this reality show. Now I know I'm saying all these things and it's like, come on, it's just a reality show, but she's been paving the way on the reality show, making waves to make this show a success, and yet Paige DeSorbo comes in, out succeeds her. There's a big scandal in Vanderpump Rules, that particular franchise, and yet she doesn't get the same success at Summer House. So Lindsay, to me, in my mind, she's been really like holding on, not in a pathetic way, but she's been like, hello, is anyone listening? I'm I'm Lindsay, like, is what I think. And she was so ready for her big moment, and it just kind of never happened. I mean, imagine being Lindsay, being the star of Summer House, along with Kyle, along with Carl. Everybody's been great. Paige, I've not really ever enjoyed, but I know people do like her. Who are the cast members I liked on Summer House? I liked Chris Leone. I liked Gabby. Remember when Sam was with Josh the Boxer? And Josh the Boxer was also with Madonna, like overlapping. They had some great cast members. Danielle, I've always been a huge Danielle fan. Danielle and Lindsay, always. So I think in my head, I'm wondering, like, though the city was so good, in my head, I'm thinking, I really ponder this. Who am I? Who cares what I think? But I do ponder this. Randomly Ronnie Jr. Hey, what's up? That's who I am. But I ponder this. I ponder if Lindsay was like seeing success move all around her and she never had her big moment. Hence to say why I think the last season and a half on Summer House and the city, she's been playing more to the audience, I think. She's losing her cool girl factor, which, again, we all age. I certainly ain't cool, but you know what I mean. And when I compare her to the other cast, she is making those big moves. This is so crazy for me because I'm a Lindsay super fan. So for me to be even like just trying to analyze what it is a bit nuts. But I think that she's just if I were to put words in Lindsay's mouth, I would say that I think she feels, even if it's subconsciously, that she's been passed up, like, for success. Why she's not getting her big moment. So when the show goes from Summer House and 10 seasons are about to end or whatever, whether she comes back, that's all fine. That's not even like anything that's part of this conversation. But when the city started, in my opinion, she like grabbed on and was like, I'm going to make this business succeed. And I do think she's done that, but she just has lost a little bit is all I'm saying. Now, if I say how much Lindsay, season 1, the city, Ronnie, what do you think? I still think she's a 10 because I've always put her up there as like a 15. She was always beyond everybody else. She was captivating. She's the way I feel like we don't cast reality TV or even personalities whatsoever anymore, where it's all about entertainment. Compelling is compelling is compelling. So yes, I'm saying a couple things that I'm like, why? Where's the shift in Lindsay? Is it's bordering on the desperation side, or I have to make this show work side? But she's losing a little, and I just hope that season 2, as a big fan of hers, that all of a sudden she'll be able to settle in. The show, will do good. The city, you would hope, season 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And then it's like she's back to the amazingness that she was in those early Summer House seasons. But, on one end, you can't knock it. Some of the other people got to be on the show, and they really can do a one and done. Lindsay doesn't want to let this go, and it's showcasing how bad she wants it. And I think we all get in these spaces where we are like, oh my gosh, this needs to happen. So what am I going to do? It's just not as fun, Lindsay. Again, 15. I usually rate her 1 out of 15. She's like a 15, or 1 out of 10. She's like a 15. I'm saying she's like a 10 now. And I say that because the other cast members, they felt so alive, and they felt so New York City. Of course, I always have such a love for New York City shows, and it was like a little bit like, oh, there's some real cool characters on this show. So I think the city was interesting, entertaining. Andrea and his wife is okay, but I don't really feel like you need them that much. But that Danielle has always been so interesting to me. Now, Danielle versus Lindsay. Don't love it if this was like people you knew. You don't want to see friends falling out like that. But this is a reality show that's making lots and lots and lots of money. Brand endorsement deals. The network's happy. The fans love the show. And I guess it does work. The constant Lindsay and Danielle is an interesting thing because on Lindsay's side, ding, 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 Lindsay's like, you proved to be disloyal. On Danielle's side, ding, 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 ding. I'm trying to do, they're in a ring. They're about to go boxing. On Danielle's side, it's like, no, the moment I didn't hover up under you, hover up under Hubbard, you didn't really equal me as a friend is sort of what Danielle is saying, which it could be a possibility. But all in all, I hope the show just continues to get a lot of success. To see Danielle and Lindsay would be great. To see Kyle. The thoughts with Amanda. Let's hold on the thoughts with Amanda. But I will say, Kenny, Whitney, Gavin, Yvonne. There has just been a good group. Like, they did this show well, and I think it will have a lot of room to grow. I'm interested because, a show about the city and aging and evolving and growing is always really exciting. I, of course, spent, 7-8 years on and off in New York City, so it's such a passion to me. I mean, I remember even watching the TV show The City on MTV all those years ago because I was like, I love this all this excitement that comes with this wonderful place, New York, and it is different than anywhere else, and maybe that's why the Valley to Vanderpump Rules isn't really going the way the city from Summer House is actually going. Maybe there's that little difference. Maybe the joke is always, when you would watch HBO Sex and the City, that the fifth character was New York, and in some ways the city, BravoTV. Sure, you've got Lindsay, sure, you got Andrea, sure, you got Yvonne, sure, you got all these great cast members, but New York also ties it together. Summer House ties it together. But I think they're all pretty darn good. But I just, it was just such a surprise to me that a couple things that were a surprise. That I was like looking at Lindsay a little less with the rose-colored glasses. But then also, I was like, I don't know, I just don't, it's just the right combination of the right show at the right time. And it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Okay, now going back, Amanda. I really thought the overdoing of Amanda West and all that didn't really make as much sense. And I think the city grabbed enough of it. Yeah, they added some scenes or whatever, and then they've moved on. Because the weirdest thing is, at this exact moment, everyone's like about Amanda. She's so disloyal, this, and this. But Amanda has always really been a cool girl on the show. She's always been interesting. She might have been a little more flighty. She might have been a little more, who knows what. I actually think that one of the things that she did wrong initially was always, she always cared so much about what others thought, versus sustaining that wonderful relationship, or what she thought was a wonderful relationship with Kyle. So that was maybe the only thing. But other than that, she was really fun on the show. And I know, like, nowadays, it's just so easy to go back and find a very isolated and designated clip that kind of references, who she really is, or she was always like that. But really, if you watched Amanda since season 1, as I've been watching the show season by season, not as a binge or a rewatch, she's always been great. And it's just a different experience if you watch it after you've seen what she was capable of, and the disloyalty to Sierra, and the odd behavior with West, and how that, also is off-putting to Kyle, and all those things. If you look at it that way, you will be looking for things about Amanda. But I will say that I think Amanda generally was always like this funky, she was a little emotional too. She was a little weird, lower energy, but fun and just kind of a kick-ass chick. I always thought she was. So that doesn't excuse what she did, and that doesn't, who knows what'll happen. Like, is she going to take the storyline continuously with West into the city? Who knows how all of that will happen, but I feel like the city did a great job this show by taking what they did from the Scandival, the scandal of Tom Sandoval and the scandal of Amanda Scamanda. They took enough of it, and now it is time to let it go. It is time to dive into, why was Amanda even with Kyle in the first place? When they broke up, I think they were together about 7 months. Then the show starts. One thing, you're dating somebody, you like suddenly don't want to hear the rumblings of like, oh, they lost 30 pounds or they got a great new job, this, and this. Maybe they really did break up. They were only together 7 months. And, maybe she caught wind. Well, you mean the person I was with for a little bit, now they're going to be on this hit show? Not even saying that Amanda was chasing fame or anything like that, but you don't want to be left out. And before you know it, you end up on a show with Kyle, have to marry Kyle because of your, maybe she wanted to, of course. It was probably a wonderful, wonderful relationship, but also there are pressures, each season, what's going to happen next? Like, you're always sort of, living a reality TV life, but you always have to present and perform something. And in many ways, you can possibly, in my opinion only, you can lose yourself to that. And that's why I'm saying my critique for Lindsay was so interesting and entertaining, because I never thought I would critique her because I like Lindsay so much. But I wonder when these shows are going and going and going and there's no time to zoom out and, take a beat and see if you're on your right path, you never know. Now, this is a lot of cast members putting their whole situation out there, so I commend that. I worked in radio for all those years ago. Very hard to do any level of this stuff. So this is just me, having a little bit of entertaining fun with the show itself and saying that I really like the city. I really like it. And I think they all mesh well. And I think Lindsay, yeah, sure, she still probably is the star of the show, but she, I'm interested to see where she'll go. I think, it's been a lot, and she grabbed it and she was like holding on and was not going to let this show not have some polarizing and entertaining moments. But I'm ready for second, third, fourth, fifth season of Lindsay on the city. Oh, and last, just a little more time. What can I say about Kyle? I could only say that if Kyle made his errors, we always have to think about it like this. People are watching a show. And yes, there's like this notion of like judging Kyle for his actions. Sure. But if it's not you directly that his actions, are being affected upon, it's just still an entertaining show to watch. And so when Kyle gets accused of this and that, and, he never grows up and he's, Peter Pan syndrome, I'm like, isn't that what BravoTV is? It's a silly reality show to enjoy. Kyle should be fun. Amanda, not fun. No, Kyle is fun. And that's the point in some ways, too. You go back to season 1, episode 1 with Stassi. He's saying, her bathing suit looked a little odd to his liking. And he was like, you look like you're Steve Jobs, because I guess it had a turtleneck type bathing suit, which was a bit interesting. And this is Stassi Schroeder, one of the best to ever do it. Stassi Schroeder is going to lead a Hulu series, and that looks really good. I'll be watching that. So I think the bigger thing nowadays is again, as I was wondering if Lindsay is doing this, it's like playing to the audience a little bit. And that does really well and a lot of social media engagement. But I like the cast members that just seem cool. And Kyle is cool. I think Lindsay is there, but she's lost it a little. I want old Lindsay to come back a little and be Lindsay 2.0, an amazing mother, an amazing entrepreneur, and like enjoyable. You know what I mean? I think she's all of those things. But yeah, Kenny, Whitney, like when Kenny, Whitney, and Lindsay sort of had their back and forths, I'm like loving Kenny and loving Whitney. Like, they're so fun. Gavin being the complete, tossing it up and causing drama amongst, asking the right questions, being very ornery and stubborn. I'm like, I like him. He's great. Yeah, we see a level of his entrepreneurship, but we also, his businesses, his restaurants, but we also see him like getting in there and stirring the pot. And I really don't see what's wrong with Gavin. He was very good for the show. They all really were. I really like Whitney, and I want to I just like Whitney's vocal voice, actually. Like, I want to just hear more from her. She has a lot of composure, and again, I understand the show can't have everyone having composure, because if that was the case, then how do you make a good show? You need people to light it up like Lindsay. I get that side of things, but man, that Whitney, I want to see her, what Whitney was like season 1 of her show, The City, and then, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, I want to see that growth and that evolvement, because she seems really cool. They all really do. So yeah, ultimately I'm giving the show 5 stars. I really am. I'm giving the show 5 stars. I think it was really good. I was more so worried that it would be so much Scamanda, Amanda, Wes, Kyle, Sierra, just redundant, and it was enough. And it moved right forward, and it brought in new things. One of the other new things that I like too, you saw on this season, was, Lindsay getting back out there and dating differently, because though I maybe want Lindsay season 1, season 2 of Summer House, she is different. She has evolved. She's older. She does have other responsibilities. And that's all great too, but there is still something very exciting for the viewer who's been watching this type of reality TV for years. Like, you want to see, like, oh, this is like flirty energy. This is like, Lindsay and romance. You never know where it's going to go. She might be telling you 1 minute she loves you, 1 minute, make me a sandwich. This is our girl Lindsay. She's the best at this genre. When it comes to Bravo TV, she's really one of the best. I do believe that. But a little bit of that can also be added. The first show is always tough. First season, rather, is always tough. You have to, like, set the table. But this table is now set, and I really believe The City on Bravo TV, this reality show, could be far better than anything that's really been going on the Valley for season after season after season, albeit there's some decent cast members over there on Bravo TV's The Valley, which came from Vanderpump Rules. But the two just don't feel the same at all. And Vanderpump was always the leading show. Vanderpump Scandival was way bigger than anything, really, that the Summer House ever got. But Summer House did have the success, even though I didn't enjoy her as a cast member, of Paige and Hannah. And these, Sierra, is booking this job, that job, this job, that job, and every job. So Summer House definitely has its thing, but it always fell short to Vanderpump Rules. But Vanderpump Rules, when it comes to the Valley, its version of a spinoff, not that great in comparison to what is going on with Summer House and it going to The City. I think it's just such a great show, and I definitely plan to watch season after season after season. I hope it gets a bunch of seasons, but, who knows? Who was your favorite cast member? Has Lindsay lost her go-getterness just a bit? Has she lost herself just a smidge? As a Lindsay superfan, this was a tough one to acknowledge, but as I was watching, I was like, and this was like happening, like I said, the end of last season, a little into this season of Summer House, and sometimes into The City. It was like these little moments where I was like, she's going to give you a show, but she seems to be a little closer to what desperation looks like and less of that cool girl that we all, as fans of, Bravo TV and reality TV, enjoyed initially. And so you got to watch out for that, because whatever, you got to evolve, but like, you got to still make sure you're connected to who you are. She just seemed a little different, but I like her. So okay. But yeah, who are your favorites, and what would you want to see other storylines on this show? Danielle, Lindsay ever being close as they once were? That's another question.
Hey,